Okay, this is the Between Shadow Society part 6, I believe, maybe 7. I should go. Is it 7? Okay. It'll be correct on the title of the YouTube video, viewer. Let's talk about a recap. I'm going to mute everybody. Okay. Let's talk about a recap because it has been a few weeks since we've played together, so we need to be reminded of some things. Let's talk about the threats that are currently active. Right now, we have the Creature of Cremorne Gardens, the Spider Silk Seamstress, and Fig's Pigs. On the Creature of Cremorne Gardens, you have the second question unlocked. What does the creature want? Answering this question allows you to lure the creature to you and destroy it or convince it to go back wherever it came from. You have 4 available clues on that particular threat. For the Spider Silk Seamstress, there are 3 questions available. All of them resolve the threat in different ways, and they're of different difficulties. You currently have 4 clues on the Spider Silk Seamstress. And then on Fig's Pigs, you have to do all 3 of these questions. You have accomplished one of them, which is what type of victim does Obert Fig prefer? That allowed you to lure Obert to you and destroy him. So you now have 2 questions remaining there, one related to Patrick Fig and one related to La Hortensia Fig, both of which will allow you to give you the opportunity to capture or destroy them. And so the mastermind, we currently have 7 mastermind clues. So that is where that stands. And I was taking a look at the hunter's conditions before we started, and you have a full house of conditions. I don't know what the poker analogy is here, but you've got them all. I don't think I've ever had a group where every single character has all 3 condition lines filled, but this is where we're at. So I'm not even going to bother reading through all of them, although I will note that a couple of them are permanent. So Dr. Noble is not getting rid of Angel of Limehouse or Most Beloved anytime soon. And Miss Blakely's are all going to be really difficult to get rid of, I think. I have a feeling they're going to be hard to get rid of. Popes are not so bad. 2 of Popes are pretty straightforward. And so are Sure Shots. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But everybody's got three conditions. So if you don't clear those out, you're going to start racking up Janus Mask real fast. So be aware of that. Any questions before we begin? The last thing that happened was we had kind of like a big encounter at Cremorne Gardens where the fish creature actually attacked Dr. Noble and Sure Shot chased it off. That was the thing I saw from the video, at least. That was kind of a big momentous thing. Anything else we need to be reminded of before we go? Then let's talk about the day phase. No need to introduce a new threat since we have 3 currently. So let's just do regular scenes. I'm going to go around the table and ask what everyone's interested in doing today, and we'll figure out how to frame up the scenes after that. Sure Shot, what do you think?
Seems like a good time to think about some kind of scene where we could do vulnerable. So I'll just put that out there and see what other people are thinking. But that's the kind of the direction that I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm just going to go in the order of the sheet. Pope, what do you want to
do? My first order of business is to attend to Dr. Noble, especially since I wasn't present with her when something attacked her. Pope would feel extremely guilty about that.
Dr. Noble?
Yeah, definitely. Well, needs her stimulant, of course, with coffee, and to make sure that she, I mean, they can share the vulnerable moment, and to be honest, I mean, it could be you, Pope, that wants to get the clue, or me. I mean, so long as we both wipe one of our conditions, I think we'll be fine. And then, just go from there.
I mean, Pope's vice being betting shops would make that scene pretty tricky to do in the house unless
True.
Although a scene at a betting shop might be an interesting scene. I don't know. But yeah,
I don't think Pope would be going to a betting shop in a situation where
she was attacked.
Dr. Noble had been attacked. No, so I think the coffee is the vice.
Coffee it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.
Miss Blakely, what do you think?
I also would like to clear a condition or two. So I think I'm going to try a vulnerable move with, I mean, if anybody wants to engage in Miss Blakely's vice, you are welcome to. I also think I have an idea on how to clear the wax. I'll try that after in a little extra scene.
Okay, interesting. Well, any takers on a vulnerable mood scene with Miss Blakely? Always go shooting guns.
See, like, can I even clear a condition by doing this? Like, maybe.
I don't know. You all have some role-playing challenges ahead of you today, I feel like, which is good. We love that. Why don't we start
only
Dr.
if Sure
Noble
Shot
and
wants to do like a verbal flogging of some, like, accept a verbal flogging of some sort.
Yeah, flogging can be interpreted very openly, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's strange, right?
No.
We could also go shooting things. That's totally fine too.
That's also acceptable.
Yeah, if you feel like you need to continue your firearms.
What if shooting things
stuff.
was shooting shots?
Yeah, we did that.
That was fun. Yeah.
That was pretty fun. What if shooting things was shooting the breeze?
That feels like a stretch.
Shooting the shit.
Yeah, that feels like a stretch. I don't think they had that phrase "shooting the shit" in Victorian London. Let's have Pope and Dr. Noble. That feels like a salient scene right now. Pope, it was your idea, so why don't you frame it up?
Yeah, so I think I will be bringing Dr. Noble a piping hot pot of coffee and cream and sugar to her quarters, and good morning, Mom.
Good morning. Good morning.
I can only express how terribly sorry I am. I was not there to assist you yesterday.
No.
I feel terrible.
No, absolutely not. You had to chase down what you had to, and so did I. I mean, scientific curiosity and just things that needed to be looked into in our own ways, and that's fine. I'm still a little. I'm slowly coming back to my senses. Thank goodness. And then this helps, and then she holds up her cup of coffee. Big cup of coffee. And were you successful? Were you successful in your mission?
I was, Mom.
Mortally successful?
Indeed.
How are you feeling about it, Pope?
I'm glad that the threat is dealt with, but at the same time, I can't help feeling I should have been there to assist you.
I appreciate. I can't even put it into words how much I appreciate your care and protection. In a way, I can only hope to continue to be deserving of such attention. I am very self-absorbed, as you well know, and
Not at all, Mom.
You would say so, Pope. You would. But yes, my focus.
I love that. Are you angling for clearing Angel of Limehouse by saying you're self-absorbed?
Yeah. I mean,
'Cause I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And basically, she just wants to just. It's weird. She's trying to allow Pope to be his own being and appreciates everything that he is doing, and trying to be around her and make sure that she's protected. But at the same time, it's like she knows that she's like, her thing is the child, the child. And that's what she's starting to zero in on, and with the coffee is helping her focus again and be, more more practical. So
Yeah. Well, so what do we think? I mean, well, Pope, do you think you cleared a condition here?
I think the only one might be unnerved, which is just in terms of taking some time.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. And maybe you have like more, I would almost say that like you found some resolve that almost like stamps that out, right? That's what it kind of feels like to me. Dr. Nobles is more interesting because you can't clear Most Beloved and Most Beloved. And so that just leaves Angel of Limehouse and Music from the Past. But I would say that you actually leaned into Music from the Past because of your focus on the child. And Angel of Limehouse, if you're maybe saying that like you are focused on your work, you're not focused on Limehouse. If you're not focused on those kids, you are not focused, like you are not that person. I think that you make a good case for clearing that, but it's up to you.
yeah, I mean, I'm like, if that's okay, the Limehouse thing was more of a she does care for them because it brought out more of, she saw this kid was not about to lose him and then wanted to give back. But then now, I mean, especially being so close to death, with the creature, now she's like, okay, look, I mean, I've got to make sure that the child comes to life. This is not, this has to be the goal.
I'm into it. Yeah, I think it's great. What do you want for
great.
your bonus? Do you want the find a clue or invite a question?
Yeah, she's been delving really really hard into her past. Let's go into a clue. I have to figure what, and it could be for any of the mysteries that are still.
Yep. Any you wish.
Got it. Okay.
Let's go over to Miss Blakely and Sure Shot while you think about that.
Yeah.
So what's the scene, Miss Blakely?
I think Miss Blakely just corners Mr. Stevens wherever he happens to be. Mr. Stevens, may I? Oh, goodness, you look absolutely exhausted. What's wrong with you?
It's been a series of days, to say the least.
Well, I have a proposition that might actually perk you up a bit. I've decided that I would like a little bit more expertise in this gun thing that you do. You showed me how it works. Now I would like to try it. If you have some time, I'm sure you do.
I think I can make some time. Here, step into my parlor, and immediately starts going down the dusty stairs to the basement.
Miss Blakely kind of wrinkles her nose in distaste for all the dust and follows him down.
Yeah, and he activates the gas apparatus that lights the place, and it's all sooty and kind of dingy, and there's broken plates and pottery everywhere.
This is where you spend your time, I see.
It smells like burnt gunpowder. There's a workbench, all kinds of ammunition and firearms, and there's an obvious shooting gallery. It says, "Welcome to my humble abode."
Goodness. I had no idea you had all this set up down here.
Yes, well, I end up spending more time down here lately than I do in my own room, so feels cozy to me. Doesn't it to you?
Well, I don't know about that. It could use a little bit more color and perhaps some fabrics and maybe less soot, but I'm sure it is just fine for you.
Each their own. What did you have an interest in trying? We've got your wheel guns here, your scatter guns here, your long guns here, although indoors might be a little bit unfit for long guns.
If one were to, let's say, come across a giant fish creature, what would be the best weapon?
Well,
If you wanted to explode it into little pieces.
that'd probably be your scattergun right here. Although, and then he starts rummaging in the back corner. He pulls out a long gun that's got it's like an old harpoon thing. This might have some specific utility.
Oh, I like this one.
That feels
To be honest,
good. I don't know. Oh, I like this one. Cut. I think you can probably clear drain pretty straight away there. Sure shot. Unless you have some other idea about.
No, that sounds good to me. Does that help Miss Blakely clear anything?
Yeah, Miss Blakely, are you good? Do you need more scene?
I don't think I can clear anything from that, but I didn't think I was going to be able to anyway.
You said you had an idea for afterwards, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. This is your bonus, Mr. Stevens. What do you want? The clue or the question?
Let's find a clue in the middle of all this.
All right, be thinking on it. Miss Blakely, give us that little post scene.
After the events with the guns and harpoons, and Miss Blakely has a little bit of a skip in her step. She's feeling pretty good. That was a lot of fun. And she decides to head back to St. James Street and pay a little visit to Miss Constance Head.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. We'll have that scene in a moment. Let me check in with Dr. Noble. Dr. Noble, what clue did you find?
Basically, I'm trying to think if it was something having to do with because this is the aftermath of the Cremorne Gardens.
Yeah,
we're all
it's
trying
the
to
next
calm
morning.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see. What's trying to remember the ones that we used. In the library, after the coffee, and coming down and becoming more practical, taking the book of fairy tales, like one of the clues, but then also going into the library of Hargrave House and then doing some research, actually finding a reference book of a sort. Not necessarily, a full-fledged printed manuscript or a book, but it looks like a journal left from Sir Richard that has a spider totem or symbol on it.
That's right, because Sir Richard used to be a colleague of Hargrave House.
Correct. So it's a journal, very beat up journal. It's like pages are stained and wrinkled and like it looks very old. So and then it has drawings of spiders on it. But when she flips through it, the language is not quite English.
Love it. No, that's good. That's a great clue. Fabulous. Sure shot. Do you know what your clue is?
Yeah, I think that I want to play with that too. I think as he's rummaging around in the basement, he comes across some torn out pages of that. And on those pages, at first, Sure Shot is distressed to see the strange pattern. But then he sees that it is actually inked on the page and he's not hallucinating it. I think that's a clue. Does that sound good?
Yes, I was just typing. Um,
Jason, can I ask a question
mhm.
about the oh god, the man in the sun mask? Is he considered a resource back at the opium den, I think? Or was he kind of like in
Did
but then out of the picture?
did you take him as a reward for that?
I'm trying to remember when we did the mask, I think.
Because he having access to him is one of the rewards. Oh yeah, here yeah, he's one of your new, yeah. You have both the Man, the Sun Mask, and Jenny Johnston, and you get an extra clue when seeking his counsel about other worlds. So
Got it.
yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, like chatting with Man, the Sun Mask is a great opportunity to get some bonus clues. So Jenny Johnston as well. Um, Now, right now, East London, figs pigs would probably be applicable if maybe Jenny knows something about the figs. But
Okay. Yeah, because
and
I would like to make one of those the next scene. It might make more sense for Jenny Johnston to speak with Dr. Noble, as opposed to, I mean, unless Pope, made a like really detailed mention about what the hell happened with the Sun Mask
yeah,
fella.
yeah. Well, you all go
So
together as well, I suppose. Is really good.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. So
Yeah, yeah, because the Man in the Sun Mask can probably definitely speak to the Spider Silk Seamstress from another
right.
world, and maybe even the creature because the creature's from the ocean depths, right? So yeah.
Yeah, I'm like if Pope wants to go, I think this would be a great opportunity to start thinking about um, other sources and
He might even be
questioning
able to
him.
speak to Mock. I don't know, right?
We don't want to speak to Mark right now, but okay.
Or speak about Mock, I should say. Yeah.
Right.
I think Pope would definitely be interested in asking him about that, given what he saw
Okay.
the previous evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be good. Love all that. So that sounds like a good follow-up scene for you all. Miss Blakely, let's talk about St. James's Street, and specifically 20 St. James's Street, where Constance lives. So let's be reminded of Constance. We know that she was possessed for a time by something. We believe the ghost, but we don't know for sure. And we know that you two had some intense kind of interactions with each other. Where did we leave you and Miss Head? Do you recall?
No, that's it, I think. She
Yeah.
just kind of went back home and
Mhm.
haven't seen her since.
Okay,
So this will probably be a surprise for her. But Miss
her,
Blakely has had some time to stew this whole Brathwaite
yeah.
situation
Is
and is
she
a little unhappy.
is Miss Head one of your worshipers? Did we just establish
Not
that?
yet,
Okay.
but
So
you
the
know
butler
what?
opens the door.
Let's give it time.
Yeah. The butler opens the door and he goes back to tell Miss Head who's here, and he comes back to you again at the door and says, "I'm very sorry, miss, but the lady of the house doesn't wish to receive any visitors today."
Oh, don't be so silly. And she storms in. Miss Head, I've come to visit you.
You can hear a door slam up the stairs, like she's running away.
Goodness. Well, this is going to be a lot more of a problem than I initially planned for. Oh well, Butler, what is your name?
Gregory, ma'am.
Are you the only staff member in the home at the moment?
At the moment, ma'am.
Would you be kind enough to go down the street and fetch me some, oh, who knows, flowers or some such, in
And
order to make a gift to Miss Head, of course.
He says, "I am afraid I have duties here in the home, and you are not my
Yes.
employer, ma'am."
Yes, but I do request this very specifically.
And I think he's just like a little like taken aback, like, he doesn't take orders from you. And he says, "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave."
She gives a very loud sigh and she takes out the little gun that she stole from Mr. Stevens and shoots poor Gregory.
They move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your nerve?
I can't imagine she's going to lose her nerve specifically, but I think she is afraid that it is going to be too loud or she might miss, in which case this guy is going to go run for the police.
Yeah, that sounds good. Go ahead and roll with composure.
Oh, what's my composure? I hope it's good. It's not bad. It's not good either. Okay, that's an 8.
You're gonna succeed, but the complication is going to be that just Constance is in hysterics. Basically, she hears it and she's just kind of freaking out. So, but if you're okay with that, then describe the scene.
Yeah. The gun goes off and it jumps. It's her first time shooting a person, really shooting a gun like this, kind of jumps in her hand and she's like, oh, wow, that's not what I expected. And poor Gregory hits the ground and Miss Blakely looks down at him and sighs. I did ask you to leave.
And also scar your reflection, please.
Dang it. I was hoping that wasn't going to happen.
How is the cathedral changing when you killed Gregory?
I'm going to think about that and describe it in a minute.
Okay, sounds good. Meanwhile, you hear Constance scream upon hearing the gunfire, and she's like yelling, "Help! Help!" And you can hear her trying to open a window on the second floor, like she's trying to climb out the window. What do you do?
I go and get all of the gas lights, and I open them all up. Gas stove, turn that on. Light a little match and flick it in.
Also,
then I step over.
You have Taketh Away too, so like,
I do.
You can benefit from Taketh Away right now because of Gregory, if you wish.
Oh, I could too.
Yeah, since you've already scarred your reflection, so if you want to roll vitality, go for it.
Oh, I do. Yes. What's my vitality? Perfect. That's a 9.
Choose one.
I'm going to condition.
Okay.
I'm clearing the wax doll.
Okay.
Because I'm setting the wax doll down in this house. And then leaving.
And you're gonna oh wow, okay. So
I'm gonna stand across the street and watch the house burn down. And watch as the gas that I spilled up into the next door house spreads the fire over.
That will kill Constance as well. And go ahead and roll Taketh Away again. Scar another reflection. Or scar the reflection again and roll Taketh Away.
Oh, 11.
You get 2 now. Murder pays dividends for the...
Murder pays dividends. I'm going to remove the 8 hands of beauty because I'm very smelly and full of gas and not particularly beautiful, probably a little bit psychotic looking.
Yeah, I love it. You get 1 more.
As I leave, I double check to make sure there's no real signs of me entering or coming in or doing anything, and there's not going to be any long-term consequences for what I've just done.
Free and clear murder and arson. All right. And we just see you walking down the street casually with 20 St. James's Street up in flames behind you. Who is the real villain between Hargrave House and the threats of London, we ask ourselves.
Oh, definitely the threats. I was just showing Lady Brathwaite that, maybe don't ignore me.
Yeah, exactly. It's good. I love it. I like the soap opera aspect of this as well. I think it's pretty terrific.
I did mark off the wax doll because I specifically left the wax doll in there, even though I didn't really use the item.
Yeah, it's fine.
Just because it makes more sense to me.
I think so too. So, Sure Shot, what are you going to do after you're done with your time with Miss Blakely?
So I was gonna see if I could get Pope, but it sounds like he might be engaged to do something else instead. Is that right, Pope? Have you decided what you're doing yet?
I think Dr. Noble was sending me on an errand as much as anything.
Yeah,
I gathered you were both going to the
opium den. Okay.
I was going to go to see this man in the sun mask because I don't know if she noticed him when we first went down to the opium den, and then she was intent upon looking at the corpses.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, and you can follow up with Jenny too. You can probably get a lot of clues out of this if you really play it right. So.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll do something else. I think that I'll go. Trying to think where. I think I'll go back to Cremorne Gardens and the place that we saw the thing, and see if I can find anything today.
Right, because I think that Madame Tussauds had a waxwork display at Cremorne Gardens, right? That will still be set up the next morning. So yeah, you can definitely go do that for sure. Why don't we just have that scene real briefly, then we'll cut over to Limehouse. So you arrive at Cremorne Gardens. You worked at Cremorne Gardens last summer, correct? Okay, yeah. So I think Abigail Simpson will see you and she'll say, Mr. Stevens, couldn't get enough of this place, huh? After last night's festivities?
It was nothing if not entertaining, but
I find that is always the case whenever you're here, Mr. Stevens.
Well, shame I got fired then.
Shame, indeed. How can I help you?
I wanted to have a poke around in that waxwork spot where we saw the thing. See if it left anything behind, anything of interest. It hasn't been picked over yet, has it?
No. Madame Tussauds is coming to break it down later today. In fact, you have a little bit of time left if you want to go poking around, though I'm not sure what you hope to find, and I'm also not sure why I should let you do that.
I'm a paying customer after all, and an old friend.
She says, listen, truth be told, I would like to get to the bottom of all this business, whatever the hell is going on around here. And well, seems like you and I are both in it pretty deep. So if you don't mind me accompanying you, you're welcome to go take a look.
Please. More eyes, the better.
And she says, we'll bring Sven too. She calls over to Sven, who's the handyman, big, giant, blonde. And he comes over and the three of you can head over to the Madame Tussauds tent. Let's cut over to Limehouse. Shall we just go straight to the opium den? Is that fair?
Yes. I think that, after talking with Pope, Dr. Noble would be very curious to see if he's just all blather or if he's actually having any real knowledge to impart about this. And then she will actually bring the journal from Sir Richard, as well as maybe kind of flipping through the fairy tales with the margin corrections, just to see if he recognizes any of it.
Mm-hmm. So I think we'll start with the opium den is as we've described it before in the daytime. It's not quite as smoky in the day as it is at night, but there are quite a few people there still. Many of them seem like people who maybe never left from the night before, still just kind of lounging and napping on their little mats and cubicles. And the man in the sun mask has a little cubicle. They don't have doors. It's just like a little sort of space. And he sees you there and he says, Mr. Pope and Dr. Noble, yes?
Yes.
Please. Step into my web, said the spider to the fly.
Strange you should use those terms.
I have a bit of prescience. It is a blessing, Dr. Noble.
Or a curse?
Oh no, it's a blessing, I assure you.
So then you supposedly know why we're here.
I may, though in truth, it is... The gift is a bit like the Pythia in ancient Greece. We just have visions, thoughts. We require people to give it form and action. Talk to me of spiders and of other realms, Dr. Noble.
It's fascinating that you actually seem to have a touch of what we desire to know. And then she brings out the books from her reticule, and then kind of flips through the journal because it isn't quite English. Would you happen to recognize this language?
Let's have the roll here. Do information move with sensitivity.
Of course, first roll with... Oh, actually, I do have a point in it. 4 + 1, that's the 5, but I mean, like, I'm sure it's... Yeah.
Not great.
No.
We'll come back to that. What are you doing in the meantime, Pope?
I'm waiting until Dr. Noble sits before I take a seat myself, and then really just observing the man in the sun mask as he interacts. I'm alert for any threat he may pose to Dr. Noble.
Yeah. You get a bonus clue. You get a clue regardless because you made the attempt. That's the advantage of having him as a reward. Okay. But he will. So we'll talk about that clue in a moment. Okay. We'll just do it now while we're here. Okay. He's looking through this book. Mm-hmm. And he says, I've seen this language before. I know that you are a woman of science, Dr. Noble, that you believe in things you can see and witness, but I'm going to ask you to release your logical mind for a moment and walk with me. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Have you ever heard of the concept of the liminal space, Dr. Noble?
That has to do with dreams, doesn't it?
It is more like in ancient Greece, they believed that there was a clear division between the civilized world and the world of the gods, and that to access one or the other from the other side, that you had to walk through a liminal space. These were often things of nature, forests, rivers, things like that. This is Paul. This text is the language of the liminal, Dr. Noble. Mm-hmm. And that's your clue. The text is the language of the liminal spaces. He says, I'm very sorry to report that Mr. Pope is about to receive a gift of vengeance from someone who has been here for the better part of the morning preparing for his arrival.
How far away is Pope from Dr. Noble?
I think sitting right behind her.
Pope does not see a tall, one-armed woman hiding in the dark shadows of the opium den. We'll come back to that. That's your consequence for your failure. You can bump that up if you want to avoid it. You can Janus mask, but
him or Dr. Noble.
Dr. Noble has to. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I'm going to, but I mean, if you want to switch to sure shot, that's
yeah. I want to switch over, but if you're going to mark Janus mask, then it's just nothing. There's really nothing there. It's just a shadow in the garden, as it were.
Right.
I do want to cut over to sure shot for a moment. Sure shot. So you're here at the waxwork. What do you do?
All right. So there was the confrontation between Dr. Noble and the creature, and that's the spot that I want to get a look at and see if there's any residue or scales or anything that was left behind that like I could either collect or try and follow like as a trail, but I'm not sure.
I love it. Since you have a nose for it, I think you would probably maybe pick up on blood, say. Maybe even
I wasn't
powder.
sure if we got it wounded or not. I know we tried.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably some like violence that went on, even though it wasn't full evisceration. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
what if it's Dr. Noble's blood?
Could be, yeah.
Because it got her a little bit, and I can follow human blood because I've got a nose for it.
Exactly, as I'm saying. Yeah, even if you didn't have that condition, you probably have a talent like that because of your general condition, your overarching condition.
Right. So yeah, I'm telling everybody that I'm looking for clues about the creature, but I'm actually
roll vitality.
Okay. Let's see. It's my vitality. So 7.
Very good. Complication. It's not going to be a complication. I'm going to change your condition to be a nose for Dr. Noble's blood, specifically.
Okay.
Which could be a problem in the future. But you get your clue. Let's talk about that. You look at the current clues you have, because there are quite a lot on this already. Make sure I'm not doubling up. And we know this thing is real. So that's interesting. Oh. You follow the smell of Dr. Noble's blood, which is totally faded. Nobody would be able to smell such a thing, but you can. And you're walking for a time, and you walk to the heart of the labyrinth, the hedge maze labyrinth, or the hedge maze. Abigail's following the whole time. Have we been in the hedge maze yet? Have we done that? Have we seen that yet? Don't know if we have.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. It's set up to be like a horror thing. It's supposed to like scare people as they walk through it, right? Yeah. You get to the heart of the hedge maze, and you see a message written on, I think there's like just on the ground, on the cobblestones, written with a substance that looks like dried black slime, maybe. The message says, Albertina will pay for this. And Miss Simpson looks at Sven. The whole time she's been complaining because she doesn't know what you're doing. Like, what are we doing? And then she sees this and she goes, Albertina Welk. And Sven says, he just shrugs. And she looks at you and she says, what is this about, Mr. Stevens?
Maybe you better tell me a little bit more about Albertina.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Miss Blakely, where do you go after your waiting to exhale moment?
I'm feeling great. I'm gonna go visit my cathedral. I'm in a great mood.
Very good, very good. Tell us how the cathedral's changed very recently.
Well, over the last little while, we've seen the changes in the hold on, I wrote them down. I have to go read them. The walls starting to look faded with the peeling paint, and the stones getting very unkempt, and the faded pews. The biggest change before today was when Miss Blakely ran into Mock, and he demanded a tile from the ceiling. And that's the one thing that's really putting a damper on her going to visit her cathedral. But she throws open the doors, right? And walks in. A bunch of the beautiful like stained glass windows clearly have been smashed or something, because now they're just boarded up with wood. There's no glass in them anymore. Some of the like more beautiful ones that made her look very angelic, and she's not very happy with that. There's also big cracks running up the pillars, and it looks like they're starting to peel, like sort of like the paint on the walls, but within the stone is cracking as well. She tries really hard not to look at the ceiling.
Yeah.
But then she can't really help herself. And she looks up, and one of the large tiles that's covered the ceiling of the cathedral is gone. And underneath it, you see a very colorful painting, a piece of a colorful painting. And it's of an eye. It's her eye.
Oh.
And it looks very sad and teary.
Mm.
And Miss Blakely just stirs and lowers her gaze and looks around for somebody to berate.
Are you opening yourself up to the cosmic passage right now?
What would that do?
You get it's a move. Your cosmic passage is a move.
Yeah.
It says, whenever you gaze upon the masterwork and attempt to uncover something hidden in the world, roll sensitivity.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot I had that. How
I
lovely.
thought that's why you're here. I thought that's why you were here.
Yeah.
Do that, yeah.
I just wanted to go and look at my cathedral for a while. I totally forgot I had that move. That's wonderful. All right. Well, it's a 9.
Okay.
On a 9. I scar my reflection.
Yeah. But you get your clue free and clear.
Yeah.
Which threat do you want to clear from or clue from?
I think I'm still pretty involved in the Creature of Cremorne Gardens threat. I didn't really do a whole lot with it. No.
You get a mastermind. You get a mastermind clue as well, by the way, on this. It could be a regular clue or a mastermind clue. So.
I think I'm going to go with a mastermind clue just because I'm so mad at Lady Brathwaite.
Yeah, sounds good. How about this? You see one of the stained glass windows has been replaced without your knowledge. It features a beautiful, angelic Black woman wearing flowing robes of sapphire blue.
Oh, I'm going to throw a fit. Complete fit. Who put that there? Who let this person in? Who allowed this? Complete, absolute
meltdown.
Fit. Yes.
That is your mastermind clue, though. So.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm so mad.
There is a.
I think too, since I had to mark my masterwork again, while I'm there throwing my fit, quite literally throwing things, like picking them up and throwing them at people, there's a loud booming noise, and Miss Blakely spins around to see the big mural behind the altar has fallen and just shattered into little pieces.
I love it. That's
and
good.
She just kind of screams in anger.
Very good. Very good. Let's go to Pope for a moment. So Pope, there is no tall, one-armed woman hiding in the shadows, but Jenny Johnston, a short, two-armed woman, comes up to you and she says, "Oh, Mr. Pope, it's so good to see you again. I never really got a chance to properly thank Hargrave House for helping us with our little problem here in Limehouse."
I think Pope is very, very jumpy and wary, but because of what the man in the golden mask just said. And
oh no, that never got said. That.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that got back out. Yeah. Well, I'm sure we're very glad to be of service.
You know, the boy, he came here last night. He showed up on the back doorstep. I knew he meant us no harm. He told me that you've been seeing to his needs. I think he's lonely.
I believe you may be right, yes. Do you know where he might be now?
Well, well, I think we assume that you know where he is because you all are taking care of him, right? Because he's one of your informals. So you can just
that's
know
right.
Yeah, you can just know where he is. Yeah. Just some loft space somewhere in my house. She says, "Is there anything else that I can help you all with? What are you here today for? I know you don't partake in the poppy."
Indeed not. I wonder if you have any knowledge of the Figs family.
And she, I think you have enough of a relationship here to go ahead and just roll with presence right now.
Oh boy, that's my one bad stat.
You got a 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's reason is my bad one. Yeah. I rolled an 8, 4, and a 3 plus 1.
Very good. Let's take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and do that. I want to pick up with Pope real quick. Pope, what was your die result on that roll?
It was an 8.
Okay. Jenny says, "The Figs. Yes. They ran that pie shop over in Shoreditch. I heard tell of how wonderful the famous Figs pig pie was, and I made the trip to go get one. And it was, in fact, delicious. It was probably the most succulent, savory meat I've ever had. I have to wonder where they sourced it from. I know that for a time they were getting their meat from my cousin before they changed butchers. My cousin said that they were kind of a strange family, truth be told. For example, one of the boys, the son, he's apparently lives in kind of a fantasy world where he imagines that he is something that he's not. That's how my cousin described it to me. He said that the boy used to always come around collecting things from the shop, bits of detritus, hay used for packing, just little odds and ends, anything you could scrape up. It's like he was building a nest, like a bird. That's how it was described to me.
I've heard something similar myself, yes. I have to say, I would advise you not to eat any more of the Figs' pies.
Well, I heard the shop closed down.
That's what I believe, yes. I wonder, could you tell me any more about this cousin of yours?
Yes. But Mr. Pope, and this is the complication, she says, I don't think I can help that boy anymore with what he wants. I think he needs, well, like a father figure in his life. Maybe you could come by tonight and set him straight.
If Dr. Noble can spare me, I would be happy to, Mom, yes.
And she'll give you some more information about her cousin. Her cousin has also taken the name Johnston, and he is Ronnie Johnston. As a little side note, Jenny Johnston is inspired by a historical character, a Chinese immigrant named Johnny Johnston, who ran an opium den in the Limehouse. So, little fun factoids. But Ronnie Johnston runs a little butcher shop. And that's, I mean, just there's not much to know apart from that for a time he was doing some business with the Figs, but they must have moved on to the other butcher, the one they murdered later at some point. So, but your clue is Patrick Fig is collecting detritus as if making a nest.
Mhm. Yeah, that's interesting because if I remember right, we'd theorized that he was imagining himself to be either a rat or a snake, but at this point it's more in the direction of a bird.
Yeah,
Possibly.
who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Well, lots of creatures make nests, not just birds, but yeah. Dr. Noble, I want to finish with you real quick. So the Man in the Sun Mask, I actually owe you another clue because you bumped it up to a 7 to 9.
Okay.
The Man in the Sun Mask says, yes, if you, I do recall some of the language. I can't read it perfectly, but I can make out some of it. And he tells you, there's a lot of information here about, well, it's almost as if this Sir Richard was almost as if he was being dictated to and just writing down what he was being told. I have to imagine he was in some sort of strange fugue state in order to be able to do such a thing, considering this language is not the sort of thing that people can normally speak. It's not people from this side of the veil. But there's a lot of anger here. Whoever was dictating these words to him speaks of reclaiming territory.
As she's listening to him talk, she has her learning face on, so it's quite. She's starting to become fascinated in spite of herself.
And here is your complication.
Mm-hmm.
She says, or he says, would you like to glimpse the liminal, Dr. Noble?
How do you propose I do that?
Turn around.
She takes a very slow, deliberate turnaround.
He's standing behind your shoulder and he says, it's very important, Dr. Noble, that you do not turn around to look at me. And you can feel the mask being placed over your face. And I think I'm going to give you the condition, the Sons of Another World, SUNS. You don't have to tell us, but whatever you see has an effect on how you view the world. You see the in-between spaces. You see truths that people are trying to hide. What is Pope trying to hide?
Is that a question for Pope or a question for Dr. Noble?
Dr. Noble say. Or Pope. I don't know. I'm open to both. I just came up with this on the fly. So
That is so awesome. So she's not looking at the man in the sun mask, but she's looking around and then seeing all the. Now, she's seeing patterns in the air. She's seeing people not quite themselves, as more of starlight and gossamer.
I like that better. Change your condition to the pattern. I want you to have the same condition as Sure Shot.
Okay. The pattern?
The pattern.
Okay. And then she looks at Pope, and then she sees. Oh man. There's marks on him that do not resemble the light and the life of everyone else. Everyone else has moving patterns. Everyone else has they're like different colors and different shades and brilliance of stars. And then he seems to have void. There's some darkness, but it's not evil per se. It's just black, just depth.
Hope, any ideas what you might be hiding?
Huh? Oh.
For Pope.
Yeah, I think the condition I received after killing Obert was a taste for it. And I think, if I recall correctly, that was some kind of bloodthirstiness. Is that right? I think that may well be something that Pope is wrestling with internally and trying to hide. Certainly, he wouldn't want to reveal to Dr. Noble, in case it made him look unreliable in her eyes.
Dr. Noble, you're starting to get very, very hot, as if someone is holding a candle by your cheek. And the man in the sun mask removes the mask from your face and says, I think that's enough for today. And we'll cut over to Sure Shot. Abigail says, if this is referring to Albertina Welk, Albertina is what you would call a bon vivant, say. She spends most of her evenings on the dancing platform here at Cremorne Gardens. She's very popular, and she's considered the best dancer in, well, she says all of London, but, you know, whenever she hits the dance floor, though, it does clear for her. She's sort of a local figure, you might say, here at Cremorne Gardens.
She have anybody that's expressed interest in hurting her?
Well, Albertina Welk is the kind of woman who lives life to the fullest, and sometimes people like that step on people's toes.
I see. And whose toes might she have stepped on?
I really don't know. I couldn't say with any specificity, Mr. Stevens. This is all very, very distressing, though. Sven, you better get your soap bucket so we can scrub this off.
Where's Albertina now? Any idea?
I don't know where she lives, but she'll be here tonight. She is most nights.
Well, then I may be as well.
Wonderful, Miss Simpson says. And she will lead you, or you can go back out to the hedge maze.
Real quick before I go, I want to try and scrape up some of this grime and see if it's like identifiable.
Sure. You can decide whenever you're theorizing or answering a question, whatever you think it is.
Okay.
let's, I think that's everything. I think we cut to dusk now. All right, it's the dusk phase. Let's see how the quickening is going, Mr. Stevens. Nice. Happens on a 12. On a 10 plus, your body is stronger and faster. You keep the quickening in check. You roll with advantage with vitality stuff until the dawn phase. And on a 12 plus, oh, your heightened sense of hearing and smell will help you uncover an additional clue that no other hunter would be able to detect. During the dawn phase, tell the keeper what the clue is. It cannot conclusively answer a question. So you just pick up a clue tonight for free. So bear that in mind.
I'm supposed to do that during the dawn. Okay,
The dawn,
got it.
yeah. It's just something you picked up while you were doing whatever you're doing. Let's keep going. Oh, the resurrectionists. Are the resurrectionists in play, Dr. Noble? They're doing good work
yes,
getting
they
your
are.
child built.
Yep. And then, yeah, they would. I'm just gonna get this over with right now. They get a very decent pair of, well, anyway, decent set of sex organs.
Set of sex organs, very good. And are you taking no blowback or something else?
Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, no blowback. I think we're in enough trouble at the moment.
Very good. And let's keep going. Let's talk about Hargrave House. What do I want to do today? Let's do the basement. The basement is cluttered with the belongings of long dead hunters who used to live in Hargrave House. Though Miss Blakely might have known some of them, I suppose. What do you take from the basement? Add it to your personal quarters.
An old harpoon gun. That was
Very good.
That did not originally belong to Sure Shot.
Good.
I think Pope takes a hunting knife, kind of inspired by the taste for it and his interaction with the figs.
Mm-hmm. You can add that to your personal quarters. Miss Blakely, what do you take from the basement?
A gold and ivory hand mirror.
Dr. Noble?
Well, she's into knowledge, so an old dusty tome that she wants to peruse at her limited leisure.
Mystery tome.
Yes.
Good. All right, you can add that to your personal quarters.
Okay.
And there are quite a lot of unmarked personal quarters things if you all want to lean into those and get some bonuses on your rolls. Let's talk about what's next. Amanda brings up a very good point in the chat, which is you're not in a bad shape in terms of answering a question if you all want to do that during the dusk phase in order to set up for the night. That is totally a good thing to do, and you should decide that right now. So what do we think?
I mean, because like I said, I was looking at the mysteries and threats and thinking it's like we have. Well, I mean, I have a theory about the Creature of Cremorne Gardens.
Yeah, you mentioned in chat that you had some ideas. What's on your mind?
I want to say, with the little girl, I almost feel like the creature is searching for either like its actual child or like someone like of their people because of the little girl singing in the tongue that she learned at the bottom of the ocean, and like the fancy pendant actually belongs to them in some way. It's like tying that together, and Madame Tussaud knew about it, knew them, and was about ready to, plug the waxwork.
What if this is like a Kelpie situation? Where the fish person years and years and years ago, their ability to return back to the ocean was stolen by some person on land and kept them on land for X amount of time, and now
Might
they
have
have
been
children,
Albertina,
etc.
right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's very easy to do. I mean, just to take something, keep it, and then prevent them from going home, or
Hmm.
other
And
fun
then
fairy things.
what the creature wants is to go home.
Yeah.
Or find, if this is either the creature is the creature on land that is trying to get back into their old life, or the creatures from the ocean or the Thames, I guess, are trying to find their missing friend, family, kin.
I mean, it has something to do with it because I mean, she will pay for this. Like either like the keeping of the child or the keeping of the pendants. Something preventing them from resolving their issue.
Maybe the
Um,
pendant is like the Horcrux or whatever, right? Like the thing that like
Right. It's just it's
the,
just something like, that's like unfairly bonding them to land.
Yeah.
Like when
yeah.
they need to go home.
Yeah, because it has a fishy smell, so that might be, yeah. So we're thinking
Yeah.
that Albertina did something using the pendant to keep the creature on land. What's the child connection again?
I mean, again, it's like I just feel like it's like one of the creature's peoples, and it's almost like
If we're thinking like Kelpie kind of situations, I mean, those stories, and the Kelpies, there's a bunch of stories like that, where the idea is usually it's some man comes across a Kelpie who had taken off its seal skin and is bathing in the water or whatever, and he steals the seal skin so that the Kelpie can't return, and forces her to be his wife, and they have kids
yeah,
until one of the kids lets her know where her seal skin is, and then she gets it back and abandons her family to go back home.
right,
That's usually the story.
So this would be
right, but
like a gender flipped version of this typical
yeah,
story then. Oh, that's interesting.
And maybe this kid, this little girl, is a child of a fish person
And
and a
Albertina.
human. Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah. I
What
mean,
does Madame Tussauds have to do with it?
Money,
she
money,
knew about it.
money.
Yeah, like she knew about it. Like there great story, and then like making
It's a good way to make
making
some
it
money
bigger
for the
than it
family.
actually is. I mean, like she could just as easily have like the waxwork of the creature, but not the creature. Like it's like like something out of her own her house's own imagination, but then based on this reality of this thing that has come out of the ocean and is trapped, or
I mean,
searching for something.
David, do you want to add some added context about Albertina that maybe something Abigail and Sven told you?
Well, I was thinking maybe what if it was the owner of the waxworks, Madame Tussaud, is that right? Madame Tussaud.
She's long dead. It's her kids, but yeah.
Right. So that is who was controlling the creature, and Albertina is the child. And Albertina has revealed to the creature how to escape. And that's why Albertina is going to get it.
Oh, that's an interesting inversion of the idea. So we have kind of that's a competing theory, I think, but
Yeah.
it's interesting.
I also realized that I was saying Kelpie and I meant Selkie, but they're kind of similar stories anyway.
I knew you meant something.
I knew what you were talking about. It was like
Kelpies
EL
are the
something.
horse people. Selkies are the seal people.
Yeah.
I knew you meant something. Rob, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I've been
Not about this really. No, I've been so tied up trying to figure out the six pigs side.
No, that's totally fair. So okay. I mean, this is I think like if you're going to loop in Albertina, you're going to have to come up with some extra context about Albertina because we don't know much about her yet, except that she's a regular at Cremorne Gardens. That's basically all we know.
She's so graceful because she's from the sea. Like she moves as if underwater on land. And she has discovered her parentage and has like released this creature from whatever was binding it that the rest of the family was like using to control it. So the rest of the family is like out to get her.
Oh, that's intriguing. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. The only thing that stops me is like the dark slime. Like, which party wrote it, you know?
One of the family just wrote it in like grease or something on the ground.
Hmm.
And maybe they wrote it to the creature to threaten the creature that Albertina's going to get it unless you show up and do what we want.
Why'd they put it in the center of the hedge maze?
Because they know that the creature goes there.
Right.
Oh.
I think we have established that the creature goes there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I like.
They're trying to reestablish control of the creature.
Oh, this is an interesting theory.
I like
Amanda, what do you think?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
okay.
I really like that.
Yeah.
I think there's just something really lovely and magical about the idea of that Albertina can dance so well because she's moving like she's underwater on land.
I really like that.
That was very
Right.
evocative. Yeah.
So I guess the one thing I can't quite place is the little girl singing the song, because that was a little girl singing the song, right?
Right.
What was that about?
I mean, again, it ties into like my original thought, which was the pendant and the girl are tied together. The creature is here to get the girl and or the pendant back because it is part of the reason why it's just going to stay around until it reaches its goal, which is, you know.
Right. Maybe the pendant is what controls it, and Albertina gave it to the little girl so that the family no longer had control of it. It's like hidden in plain sight.
That's intriguing.
Where was the pendant found?
I think it was just somewhere in, was it in the maze? I don't remember. I don't remember exactly where it was found. I don't think it matters though. I mean, I think we could just kind of say whatever we think the pendant means.
Right.
Let's review, because I want to make sure I understand it.
Okay.
So we're saying that it was revealed that Albertina dances as if she was, she dances as if she was like dancing under the waves, right? Like she has this gracefulness about her. And that's intriguing. So you're suggesting that maybe this is a case of the creature fathered Albertina with a human woman, and that Madame Tussauds, this happened while Madame Tussauds was keeping the creature trapped as part of their I mean, they've only recently put up the Horrors of the Deep exhibit. So, like, what were they doing in all that time before, I guess? Like, what's their connection?
Haven't they always had waxwork things?
Yeah, that's their business, is waxworks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they've been exploiting its knowledge of other places to make these intricate waxworks.
Oh, that's intriguing. We're adding a lot to the story here. Because I wonder if there's just like a simpler answer. I don't know. So, okay, we've got the connection to Madame Tussauds feels important. We have 2 clues on that. So that I think it's okay to kind of like make that strong connection between Madame Tussauds and the creature. We think that the pendant is what's used to control the creature.
Mm-hmm.
We think that Albertina freed the creature knowing that she was connected to it somehow, which I think is intriguing. And I don't know if we even like can make the connection necessarily that like she's the creature's child, but she clearly has some kind of connection to it, right? And maybe like, you know, she's this is a shape of water kind of thing, right? And that the little girl singing the song in the tongue that we don't know, she says she learned it at the bottom of the ocean. that feels really important to sort out. Like that feels like the keystone clue here.
That's what I feel like. It's more of the reason Albertina will pay for this is because she's the one that stole the girl. My personal theory on it. It's like she's the one that stole the girl.
Who is the
And
girl?
now that I'm sorry,
who is the girl? That's what
the little girl that could be related to or of the people of the creature. And now that they're, it's being touted like more I don't know, more in the public eye. It's like now the creature wants to take the little girl back, but Albertina is somehow like connected where she's not letting the little girl go.
Oh, so it's the creature that's going to make Albertina pay.
That's why I'm thinking, because the connection with the dark slime. That's the only reason I'm thinking that like it's the creature that's trying to communicate, saying it's like she did dirty, so she's gonna pay.
Okay, what if the little girl, is Albertina's child?
That's what I
And
was wondering.
Albertina is still the child of fish people. But Albertina's keeping her child on land. She's not going to let her child go into the ocean.
Oh, that's intriguing.
And
yeah.
The fish person, this is their kin.
Yeah.
And it's a child. You can still come back to the ocean and learn the ways of the ocean. Learning the tongue at the bottom of the ocean. I mean, it's a language from the bottom of the ocean, and that's what she was always told.
Right.
So that's where she learned it from.
Intriguing. I'm liking this. I think it's shaping up. So
or even more down the rabbit hole, the creature is actually the little girl's father.
That's what I was going to go
with Albertina, possibly.
Yeah, with Albertina.
Yeah. I think
exactly.
That might be. Yeah. So maybe Albertina learned this sort of like gracefulness as if moving through as if a creature that moves through water from the creature. The creature is bound to Madame Tussauds. So it must have a certain degree of intelligence, right? Because it can it's been helping Madame Tussauds with all their fabulous waxworks and stuff. And maybe this Horrors of the Deep is the sort of ne plus ultra of what the creature's helping them do, right? And it's almost like a Hunchback of Notre Dame kind of situation, right? Like we're creating this elaborate, thing. Albertina falls in love with the creature, has a child with the creature, and she takes the child from the creature. I think this is really good. It is, and I like it because I don't think you all really have enough evidence for this, but it's what you've come up with. And you're going to go see how it goes.
I mean, that's the thing. If this is what's going on, we wouldn't find out until it was all revealed to us.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, you're kind of just on a hunch. You're going to try to see if this works, right?
But also too, and correct me if I'm wrong, or even if I'm not, I don't know. I mean, wasn't it couples that the creature had been terrorizing?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yep.
Couples. So.
Yeah. So it's a heartbreak thing. It's a custody dispute.
Ooh, the worst kind. The worst kind.
That's good. I think the thing that maybe you haven't really settled precisely is Albertina's actual connection, but I think you've theorized. It is a theory, and it's enough to get the role. So let's talk about the die roll.
There's maybe a simpler way of this story with all of these same clues, but I don't know if we want to try that.
I mean, you've got a plus. It would be a +1. So whoever wants to take it away, go for it.
All right, since I was the one to throw down for the let's theorize. Let me give it a shot. All right. 7.
7.
Oh wait, no, 8, because we had +1.
Same result. Let's read the move. It says, it's correct, and you can pursue the opportunity, but I will add an unwelcome complication to the answer, or or it will be more dangerous. So maybe I'll ultimately decide what happened with Albertina, but you've got to, your basic thought is you are trying to, so how do you think you have to get rid of the creature? Like, what do you have to do here? I guess is the real question. You got to like, give it the little girl or like what has to happen here?
Well,
We have
I
to
mean, like,
establish the custody agreement.
Right,
yeah,
yeah.
right. I mean,
The custody
Depends on
sharing.
whether we're siding with the creature or siding with.
We're going to family court here. Like what's
yeah,
happening?
right.
Here?
Oh my gosh.
Do we regard the creature as a kind of innocent here, or
I
that's
don't
been
know.
wronged?
Yeah.
I,
Or do
Maybe
we
that's the
regard-
complicating factor. You don't really know, right? Like
yeah.
Yeah,
you
we don't know
Who's
who's
in the
right
right.
and who's wrong.
who's right and who's wrong.
Right.
We just
here.
know we just know which one looks like a monster.
and has hurt people. Yeah.
Now, did one of us hear the little girl, or we saw the little girl?
I think you heard and spoke to her. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what
Okay.
you know who the little girl is. She's presumably
So
hangs around Cremorne Gardens while Albertina is there doing what she does.
Then there you go. I mean, like, the creature's probably going to still come back.
So basically,
Yeah.
it's lure the creature to you and destroy it or convince it to go back. Basically, I think all you can really do is lure it to you, and then you have to figure out what to do at that point. So,
Yeah.
and who knows?
Yeah, we might need to talk to Albertina and be like, we know, and see what Albertina thinks about all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's closer to peaceful resolution than we think, and Albertina knows this, but she just like won't let it be, and we can convince her. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that Albertina will pay for this was just that night, like last night, right? I mean,
Well, we don't know
Yeah.
when
It
the
wasn't
message
there
was
before.
put. Presumably, it was there recently, though. Yeah.
oh, okay. But
Yeah.
but I mean, recently, like not. It's been there
Oh,
since
not
the
ancient.
creature.
No. But like within the last
Okay.
couple of days, for sure. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, things are going to be coming to a head pretty damn soon. So, because I think the creature is also on the search. So, I mean, well, Albertina's there. The kid's probably going to be
Why
around.
would the creature have attacked Dr. Noble? I wonder. That feels like important context. Why would, because it was hiding in the waxwork, which actually solidifies the story between the connection between the creature and Madame Tussauds, because the creature was literally hiding in Madame Tussauds' waxwork, right? And
Right.
nobody
Mhm.
cared. nobody from Madame Tussauds batted an eye, right? So,
Right.
yeah,
It might not have been personal for the creature to attack Dr. Noble of all people. It might have just been, there's somebody alone who looks like I can attack, and I can put some fear into Albertina's heart.
maybe, yeah, it could have been simple as
Or
that.
a slight
Oh,
resemblance to Albertina. I mean, who the hell knows? I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know what this
may-
chick looks like.
Maybe
So.
that would
that would be
maybe
an interesting twist, because you're the most beloved. Like that would be,
Well, I was just going
Right.
to say,
Yeah.
could it tie to being the most beloved?
yeah.
yeah.
Maybe you
And-
look like
and-
Albertina. I love that, actually. I think that's great.
Yeah, and it's possible a sea creature can't see too good anyways. So
That's true.
even
right?
the
Yes.
slightest resemblance.
I
Is
mean, like
enough.
if the bulb is size and it's like if it's like a little bit offset or what have you. I mean,
And then
know.
that most beloved aura that you give off.
Mhm.
You know,
The
that-
combination is like enough for the creature to say,
Yeah.
there she is. And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's true because like also too. I mean, between Albertina possibly being of that world as well, so there's that otherworldly bit of it, and then the most beloved bit for Dr. Noble, and then I also opened up Cosmic Passage as well, so it's like there's just
you invited it.
yeah, exactly. So it's like okay, that resembles it, so
That
Right.
could be the way
It's-
to lure it. That could be the way to lure it, though, too.
Yeah,
right?
and
that's
Yeah.
yay me.
it's possible the other couples who were attacked also have at least some
Some
resemblance.
similarities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's
Just
not
never
like
put
we
it
got a good
together.
look at him. Yeah.
Or just in some way reminds the creature of
Hmm.
his
Maybe
You know.
the couple that was initially attacked, maybe they just finished dancing, which is what Albertina does, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. I love it. We got to a really good place here. This is good. I'm glad we talked it out. So let's proceed. Any other questions to answer tonight? Or we,
Hold
we're
on,
good
let me
with this?
see. Let me see.
Dang, that was intense.
I know. I was like, oh my god. Okay.
But you can make a go on Spider Silk. You can make a go on figs on one of the figs. I mean,
The only thing it's like for the Spider Silk. I mean, because do we answer the questions in order or we just answer the
You
questions.
pick one. You pick
Oh,
you
okay.
pick the approach you want to take. Yeah.
Cause yeah, like hazy on the true name, because I think there's clues in that book of fairy tales with the margin corrections, and I mean, like, I don't think we've actually like really delved into looking at that yet.
Yeah. Well,
So,
the true name is, as it notes here, a true name is not like a literal name in the Fey realm. It's more like a vision or a symbol or
oh, right, but I mean, like, at least like seeing like how the perception is
mm.
of the creature making corrections. It's like, that's not true. That's not true. This
I
is
love
like,
you. I love the idea of you all approaching it with that second one though, because the true name. Because I would love to see like what true name you come up with based off these clues. I think that would be
right.
fun to do.
Yeah, no,
You
and
know?
then and that's like that's what I mean, because I mean the Book of Fairy Tales could be more like the poetic corrections, rather than literal like, well, that this is the fact about me or the people, and then same thing with like kind of getting an idea of the liminal space stuff with the language. I mean, again, it's like it's probably more symbolism if anything
Yeah.
else, and that leads to the true name. So,
I like that. I like going for the true name thing. We could very easily do the how is the creature ensnaring her victims, but it's so simple and I
It's
like
so straightforward. Yeah,
yeah.
you have enough clues to do the more interesting ones, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although that one has the harder resolution. The easier one
what?
to solve is the harder one to actually resolve.
Yeah.
The first question.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that one you actually have to like fight her essentially. So.
That almost seems like it should be the last thing that we do. It's like, how's it in staring? Oh, that's the way, because it's like now the hunter's trapped. Whatever. It's great. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if we want to now see with the clue, we have the Book of Fairy Tales with the corrections in the margins. Is that something that would require a scene to try to play through and then like kind of look at?
No, I mean, at this point, if you're going to go ahead and try to answer the question, you can just say what you learned, right? I mean, you can
Okay.
just make it up. It's fine. I mean, because
Okay.
what you're trying to do here is, if you go for that second approach, it says resolve the threat by learning the creature's true name, gaining power over her, and dismantling the binding rituals which sustain her in this realm. The true names take many forms: a fleeting series of images, a song or poem, a word unknown to human tongues, and so forth. So you just have to all kind of just get real like stream of consciousness here with these clues and decide what you think the true name is if you want to take this approach, right? You have enough clues to try the other one as well. I mean you have enough clues to try all of them, but the other one is that's the one where you strike a bargain with Ms. Beaumont, right?
Right. I mean, like, well, I think that, like, the only thing that we could, like, really tackle at the moment would be the true name. And, I mean,
Yeah.
considering the Book of Fairy Tales, the pattern on the garments, the journal with the spiders, and then the liminal space journal, again, it's just this the web, the tapestry, the patterns, the connection of things and people, which just happens to translate for this particular person as fashion, but it is encompassing a lot more than that. But we keep seeing it. We keep seeing it repeated. And so, I mean, and I'm just going to do a callback because I do remember this part. It's like I had done a thing for one of the masks or one of the narrations that Dr. Noble very long ago had an encounter with someone by a forest looking at a spider web, and then the woman was there and then she was gone. So for her, that like there's still some callback, even though she's very logical and very practical. There's still some callback. So there's some kind of connection there
Something with
this
webs,
particular mystery.
patterns.
Yes.
Even the idea of territory might
Yes,
reference
that's
a
the
web,
territory thing.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Because I
Wasn't
mean,
there
like, because that
something
could.
that
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to make a mention. It's like, because in that case, it could be of like Dr. Noble had seen that territory at one point in that part of her life, but could have been, I don't know, when, this entity had it or was being pushed out of it. So, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, it's intriguing.
I was gonna say, wasn't there something? maybe I'm confusing this with a different game, where we were talking about how different symbols layer on top of each other to form
Mm.
some sort of like 3D symbol. That could be, if we think about all the different
Yeah, I was
patterns
thinking,
that we've been seeing.
yeah, that some combination of the patterns is the true name. You know, it said the true name can take many forms, or it doesn't have to be a
Right.
word. It doesn't have to be something you speak.
Because there was also that world, the planet type, cosmic type pattern that we found with, I want to say the man with the sun mask, and like, you know, back
If it was
then,
the
and
Limehouse Lurker, yeah,
yes, with, because we were trying to, I was trying to show it to Julius,
Julius.
and yeah, he was like, he was faking no, and he was like such a, but anyway, pain
So
in the
glad
ass.
he's dead.
I know.
Get out
So
of here,
good.
Julius.
So I think that the patterns are the written form of the true name.
Okay.
We can't like, we don't know how to speak the language, and that's the problem. The journal, in the language of liminal space, helps explain and bridge the gap between human understanding and
Yes.
the pattern language and how to say it.
That's
Yes.
good.
And that's the important thing. But the name itself is a true name because it's descriptive. It's all of the things we know about the Spider Silk Seamstress, and you must say them in this pattern form out loud. And that's how you say a fey creature's true name. The more you know about the creature, the closer you get to its true name. To express a fey creature's actual full-on true name would be to understand them entirely. But if you know enough about them that you can say enough descriptive things in this language, you can name them in that way. That's my theory.
I
Yeah,
like it, but I think it's a great theory. It only accounts for 3 of the clues so far, though. Like or the pattern, I suppose, as well.
Right.
And
Every
the fairy
pattern.
tales. The fairy tales as well, because we were theorizing that the Book of Fairy Tales was somebody trying to translate
Oh, right.
and
Yeah.
understand what's happening
Yeah.
with these patterns and stories.
and
So
the
what about the
reclaiming of
spider husks and herbs and human skin?
Well, I thought that was part of the whole ensnaring the victims part.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
If that's how she or the creature ensnares victims, then that's a thing that we know about her. And if we can say it, if we can figure out how to say it in that pattern language out loud, it will help bind the creature.
Yeah, we can turn that binding back on the creature. Yeah.
I see. So that's part of the binding. That's actually the binding tool.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Right.
What if it's not necessarily saying it out loud? What if all of these patterns and everything in the language, the journal, it is, because the journal is in the language of liminal space. It is the language of space. It is, what if all these things are a map? And
For the territory
space
that they're trying
creature,
to reclaim.
and that is the creature's name, true name, is where they are, like their territory, their location.
Yeah.
And being able to read the language is being able to read the map.
Yeah. And especially because it's anger. Like when it was being dictated to Sir Richard in this fugue state, there was anger in there, in the reclaiming of territory. Probably unfairly taken away. We know how that goes, you know? And so it's like a part of the true name is part of the true nature, which has to do with the pattern and the location of where they are, not only as an entity, but as as a space.
Because I really like David's idea of being like having to read this thing out loud.
Yeah.
I think that's really I don't know, there's just something very fairy tale about that. And then have it be like reading out loud a map, and knowing the more you know about this creature, the more you understand this map, the more you understand this language that you have to speak.
I mean, like that thing about the door, right? I'm like in Happy Movie, you know, I mean, you read the thing above the door and it activates and opens the door.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing.
So this is intriguing. Let's review the clues. So we're saying that the jar is just the basic medium by which Ms. Beaumont binds people. The pattern, the fairy tales with the corrections, the pattern, ultimately the pattern is the sort of like, understanding the pattern is understanding the map, and understanding the map is understanding Ms. Beaumont's true name.
Right, and the journal's the key to it all.
The journal's the key to all of it, and
Yeah.
we know that the map is about territory, and so that's intriguing. Yeah, that's really intriguing. I like it. I think it's a cool theory. I think the only thing you haven't accounted for is Vincent Pomeroy expressing an interest in avant-garde fashion. That feels like a red herring, but I don't know.
I don't even remember who Vincent Pomeroy is.
He was
Yeah,
one of the
just
guests,
one of the
at
guests
the at the fashion show
Yeah.
at Hargrave.
Well,
you wouldn't notice him. Like Miss Blakely would not
He's-
notice him at all. No.
no, he's below me.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that just him being drawn into that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Fascination,
It might be a
or-
little attenuated. I mean, I think you've
Yeah.
got like 7 good clues here, which is a +1 on the roll. So essentially, the territory is her name, and she's here to reclaiming the territory is like reclaiming her name in a way, right?
Oh
Yes.
man.
And yeah,
What if we figure out that when you actually can discern the spoken language out loud and what it's supposed to sound like, the name of the territory sounds a whole lot like the words avant-garde.
that's interesting.
Wow, wow.
But with
How
like a fey
intriguing.
twist.
Yeah,
I love that. That's
That is so
cute.
cool.
I'm
And
into
it
That
makes
is so neat.
And
I'm
that might
into
be
it.
one of the reasons why she got so involved in fashion,
Right.
is
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there is that
Well,
connection there.
It's because the true name of the territory is actually expressive of the idea of what avant-garde means, even to
Yeah.
humans.
Mhm.
But she wants
Right.
to control the territory of avant-garde.
Yeah.
It's almost like the name is like a synesthesiac thing, right? Where
Yeah.
it's a confusion of different. It's like you're speaking a pattern,
Yeah.
or you're
Yes.
yeah. So
I love it. I love it.
and
I mean,
that's something about what avant-garde art is trying to express in a way, right? That it's
Right. How they
you know,
put
it's
things
abstract
together.
and it's not representational in a
Yes.
traditional way.
That's fabulous. I love it.
Fashion in itself is a representation of a vision. So I mean, like however you put together your outfit, however you pattern your clothes, I mean, like, you could see it everywhere and anything, but when it keeps on coming up consistently, and then kind of giving clues. What were the beings that you saw webbed up in her basement? Was it Fae people or was it real people?
They were real. They were her previous lovers. Yeah.
Okay. But they were all real people.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just curious.
I love it. +2. David, why don't you roll that?
Okie doke. See how that goes. 7.
Right. So you've got it. She's going to put up a fight, but it is available. You can resolve this threat by trying to gain power over her to break the bindings. Fabulous. Are we good on this, or we want to take a crack at a fig as well? The figs ones are easy because those are just complexity 2s. But
Pope, you're muted.
Sorry. Do we want to theorize about the animal form now that we have that additional
Yeah.
clue?
I mean, I'm stuck because I mean, like, I really liked, like my cat thing because of the mice skeletons, but birds eat mice as well. I mean, owls, nest.
yeah.
Yep, they will take anything, as well to build a nest. So, I mean, I could
would
just
a-
as easily say owl. I mean,
Patrick thinks he's
Would a
an owl.
raven?
Yeah,
Ra-
I was gonna
Raven.
Yeah, I was
say-
wondering if it's like a magpie or something, that are famous
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
taking,
Would
but they
one of
don't
those-
kill mice, right? So
Well, I don't know. Would one of those great big Tower of London ravens kill mice?
Yeah.
they'd certainly eat a dead one, right? They'll
Yeah.
scavenge.
Yeah. Also, a magpie will eat anything. There's magpies everywhere around here, and I've watched them like tear apart a chickadee for no reason. They're mean.
Yeah.
I mean, all the
No, I can
corvids are
see that.
pretty ruthless
Yeah,
birds,
but they're
right? Yeah.
smart too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's why they're
They're my
ruthless, because they know what
favorites.
to do.
Yeah.
Love them.
Man, what
If
if
we're
he
gonna,
thinks he's one of the Tower of London ravens and he
So he's
always
in the
wanders
Tower of
back
London.
there?
you know
He
what?
always wanders back there.
It's
Yeah.
weird because I mean, like this whole, like, now that I'm looking at the clues for Figs Pigs, it's like, you could say, I know we were trying to tie in the religious stuff with La Hortensia, but I mean, like, you could say each of the collections was something that he was doing as well. I mean, like, opera tickets, buttons, other things. That's kind of, detritus. Religious
Yeah,
items, that's
I
just a
mean,
bigger
yeah.
pile. I mean, a
Mm.
bigger collection.
I mean, it's a lot of clues to spend on a complexity too, but
Yeah, no.
yeah,
I mean, I'm just like, just saying it's
but no,
like
for
it's kind of
sure,
running a
yeah,
theme here.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
I say, what if we use the last three clues, the My Skeletons, the large collections with buttons and opera tickets and stuff, because collecting stuff makes so much sense for a bird like that.
yeah,
And then Patrick Fig is collecting Duchess and making a nest. That's very Tower of London Raven. I like the Tower of London
It's a
specifically.
fun idea,
David,
yeah.
that's a really cool idea that he
Yeah.
keeps going back there. That's
yeah.
cool.
If we
Pope, have
if
that
we
roll
had to
+1.
confront him there, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Pope,
so
take a
cool.
+1 on that. Go ahead and roll that, Pope, or Rob.
Sure. So it's just 2d6 plus 1.
Yep, that's it. Flat roll. Or two, yeah, there's no modifiers or anything, just +1.
I rolled a 3 and a 6 with the +1. That's a 10.
Hey.
Nice.
So you can now lure him to you and capture or destroy him. And it'll be very easy because you got a 10. So, all right. Wow, that was a lot. That was a big, long dusk phase, but it was fun.
Yeah, that was super fun.
It was really good. I don't think we have any open Janus Mask right now, or no, maybe we do. Dr. Noble, do you have one marked?
Yes, sorry. Let me see. Hold on. Because I got the sex organs. Yay. Yeah, I don't want to get too
Well, but you were supposed to
obviously-
mark a Janus Mask to bump up that roll with
Oh,
this
yes,
Man in the
yes,
Sun
yes,
mask
sorry.
as well.
I think yet again I'm going to be combining two narrations because
Okay.
yeah, narrate a flashback to the happiest day you shared with the person you lost. Yeah.
Why don't you save that for the dawn, since you won't have the sex organs until the dawn. So
Yeah, exactly. So
and let's talk about the unseen London at night. Boy, I feel like we got to pick a big. Oh, wait, we need to talk about what you're all doing first. So, what is everyone
Yes.
actually going to do tonight? I mean, you have 3 things that you can go pursue. You can all split up and do them separately, or you can tackle one of them. The Fishman and the Spider Silk Seamstress will be hard. Patrick will be easy. So, yeah.
I'm going for the Spider Silk Seamstress. I'm vindictive, and she had a spooky basement.
Are you going to, because you're essentially kind of doing a ritual, essentially, right? In order to sort of unbind her power. Where are you going to do this at?
I imagine if she's going to have any sort of source of power, it's going to be in her shop. So I'll probably just go there, and I just assume, well, Miss Blakely just assumes she'll be able to figure out how to do it when she gets there.
Is anyone going with Miss Blakely?
I would, except that I 100% will be sticking to Dr. Noble this evening, given that I left her alone last night and then she got attacked.
yeah, you know what? I mean, I think I'm gonna go back with Sure Shot if he's gonna go too. To Cremorne Gardens and then see about this stuff with the creature because again, being practical about this and it's like that Albertino will pay for this is a recent find. It's like I think there's going to be there's a time crunch for this. So I feel like that one's a little bit more
Sure Shot, are you going
urgent.
with Dr. Noble and Pope to the Cremorne Gardens?
I think I'm really interested in seeing out this silk spider seamstress, the spider silk seamstress, because of the condition that I have. I think I'm drawn to it.
The pattern.
That does make sense too. I mean, I almost feel like, well, I mean, Yeah.
It's okay. You could go do the creature. It's fine. Yeah.
No, because it's like if they resolve the spider thing, I'm just like I don't want to miss out.
But if you resolve the creature thing, then we miss that. I think it's what, like, character-wise, I think it makes perfect sense for Dr. Noble and Pope to go resolve or deal with the creature because of the situation that had happened.
Yep.
Um,
Hope has
Miss
a grudge
Blakely
with the
doesn't
thing now.
care about the creature that much. She's mostly mad at the seamstress for
And
Gotcha.
sure shots
not
in the middle.
thinking she's
So
pretty.
yeah.
Right. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
I think the pattern is getting the better of him, and he needs to deal with that.
okay.
This is
I
really
think
where
it's,
you need the explorer, because the explorer, you get 2 night phases in a row if you want. So yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that would be
Oh well.
something.
Yeah, that would be. Oh God, I can't even imagine. Mm.
That's one of the big advantages of the explorer, is they use their resources to get a lot done in the night phase. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, well, it sounds like we've sorted out. Then let's talk about London at night, the
Okay.
unseen. Let's do. Oh boy, I want to pick a good one. We haven't done Brown's Hotel yet. That's my favorite. One of my favorites. Let's do that. This is on the 1, 2, 3, third row, second one over. None of the 117 rooms at Brown's Hotel on Albemarle Street are the same, though they each have housed some of the most fashionable people you'll find in London or anywhere. A concierge, Teddy Miller, delights in spying on the hotel's posh clientele. Let us put first Amanda, then Mads, then Rob, and then David. 5-minute break. See you back in 5. Brown's Hotel. Amanda. Teddy puts his ear up against the door of a wealthy young bachelor. What does he hear that makes him desperately want the life of that young bachelor?
Now, Teddy puts his ear up against the doors of a lot of people and hears a lot of stuff. In this case, he listens for quite a bit longer than normal because he hears a very happy party happening. There's people laughing, and you can hear the sounds of people playing poker. It sounds like there's a lot of people in this room having a really good time. You can get whiffs of tobacco smoke and such coming from underneath the door. The thing that keeps him there, though, is somebody puts on some music and a person in the room starts singing. Clearly, this wealthy young bachelor is friends with some sort of famous opera singers, because she sounds like something Teddy would never be able to afford to go see. And he listens for quite some time to her sing.
I love it. Dr. Noble, Pope. Cremorne Gardens tonight is alive with activity. The emerald green glass lamps are glowing, casting beautiful green cast of light everywhere. And the dancing platform, which can hold literally thousands of people at a time, is just packed with people doing mostly like waltzes and chamber type dances. But if you wait long enough, you'll see the floor clear for a woman who does look a lot like Dr. Noble. There are some similarities. You can notice it, Pope, probably more than anyone. And she makes a little speech. She says, now, as you all know, I'm famous for knowing all the new dances coming from across both ponds. And you have, she says, I know all the dances, da, da, da. She says, I know the polka, the Portland, the Boston. But of course, the Viennese waltz is how I made my fame among all of you. But tonight we are doing something a little different. the tango, South American, very dramatic. And she like throws her hand out to her dancing partner who comes across, and you start to hear the brum bump 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 as the tango music, brum bump bump bump. What are the two of you doing?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for Pope, but Dr. Noble is watching, waiting patiently for this whole thing because she wanted to get a look at Albertina, and she's more of assessing her movements rather than actually looking at her face and seeing any resemblance to herself, and she's just feeling like the precision of the rhythm and
Are
like
you and are
watching.
you and Pope going to do a tango in the maze?
No, no. I mean, like, not like she's not responding necessarily physically, but I mean, she's just like, trying to also, like, while she's watching Albertina, she's also trying to keep an eye out to see if she can recognize the little girl. Like, if the little girl is somewhere nearby,
Like that.
because, she wants to see if she can have an interesting conversation.
Yeah, Pope, what are you doing in the meantime?
I had arrived there with the intention of keeping an eye out for the creature, being watchful around Dr. Noble. But I think as Albertina takes to the dance floor, I'm quite transfixed by the resemblance between her and Dr. Noble, to the point that that's the entire focus of my attention.
I love it. Miss Blakely, Mr. Stevens, Savile Row at night the shops are closed, and Ms. Beaumont's shop is closed and dark, and the door is locked. Sure shot, what do you do?
I mean, I think it's no problem to get through a locked door unless there's something special about it, especially because I'm like super wolf right now or whatever.
Yeah, so what do you do?
I'll let us in, unless it seems like that won't be possible.
Yeah, you can, if you're like, you're going to try to tear off the door off the hinges or something, or
Yeah, just force the door open.
yeah, you can just describe it.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's like as dramatic as tearing it off the hinges. I think it's just pushing until the bolt and the lock mechanism break inward and we can swing it on its hinge, and then whenever we're inside, we'll just slide it back into place behind us.
Miss Blakely, you're in the dark shop. What do you do?
Well, Mr. Stevens, it does seem like you're very invigorated tonight. So shall we go down to this secret lab, lair, room that she has and just start breaking things?
Is that what you came here to do? Vandalize?
Well, I mean, to break some sort of bond that she has with our world. And I assume if there's some sort of physical thing, she probably has it down there.
It's possible. I'm not sure if it'll be quite as simple as breaking things, as much as I would like to just smash the place up and be done with it. I think he's just like looking around and looking here and there. I think he keeps catching the pattern out of the corner of his eye.
You see the Sister Sendula, her assistants. They are there in the shop wearing their black veils, and their hands are outstretched and they're floating toward you. Let's cut back over to Brown's Hotel. Mads, Teddy rummages through the personal effects of an actress staying at the hotel while she is out. What does he find that makes him desire her or desire to be her?
See, so what he finds is he goes through her wardrobe, her trunks, some of her dresses that are hanging up, and he finds this beautifully embroidered gown. But it's very strange. It's not quite what her other gowns look like. It's very deep black velvet that looks like you could fall into a void, and attached to it are what look like bracelets that have a very unique pattern forming in the diamonds or the zirconias or whatever sparkly gems that he's starting to fall into, because the pattern of the gems is starting to entrance him. And then he can also see embroidered in tiny silver thread the same pattern in like along the side of the dress. And so he's falling into the void of the velvet. He's falling into the pattern of the jewelry and the embroidery, and he just thinks of how he wants her and how he could be her if he was able to wear this dress.
Pope, Dr. Noble, underneath the tango, you hear the song, the proper song sung by the creature. The music almost syncs up with the tango in a way. It almost feels like two tracks on the same piece of music. And it brings out the basic sadness and drama of the dance that Albertina and her partner are dancing. And you see a little girl walking in the direction of the song, where it's coming from, her eyes glazed over. Dr. Noble, what do you do?
As soon as I see her, the little girl, she starts to, like, Dr. Noble starts to feel the rhythm of the tango melding with the song that she can start to hear. And it's not in her ears, it's actually like somewhere like more visceral, like within her form and her body. And then she sees the little girl, and then she, tugs at Pope or gestures to him. It's like, there she is. Let's follow her. Let's see where she goes.
Yeah, I think Dr. Noble gestures at Pope, but has to tug at his sleeve to break his attention away from watching the dancers. And once he does attract his attention, he gives a nod and moves to follow the girl.
Very good. The Sisters Sandula are attacking Sure Shot and Miss Blakely. They are essentially kind of flying towards you, like with their hands outstretched. And as their hands outstretched, sort of flying ahead of them, like out of their sleeves are needles, and like needles of various sizes. What are some other sewing notions? Needles is the only dangerous one I can think of.
I mean, those huge shearing scissors.
Shears and needles are like flying at you two. Sure Shot, what do you do?
I think Sure Shot like kind of smiles, and he's like, "This is what I was looking for tonight." And among the needles and everything is the pattern, and he can perceive it and tries to move out of the way swiftly and draw and fire on them both.
I love it. You can take it with vitality since you're doing that advantage right now. And the gun,
okay.
Too, so regardless, you'd be at advantage. What are you trying to accomplish? Just to shoot them dead, or?
Yeah, I'm. They're not important to this.
Yeah, fair enough.
They're just barriers.
What are you afraid
in the way?
Well, before you roll, what are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
I mean, I'm afraid that they'll make me like into something. Like,
yeah, oh yeah. I think it's worse than that. They'll kill you, and you will be set up in Ms. Beaumont's diorama. What'd you get?
Boxcars.
Wow. Very nice. I think the advantage I'm going to give you is you just open up the way for Miss Blakely to get down to the lair and do what Miss Blakely's going to do. But go ahead and just describe how you take out the Sisters Sandula.
Okay. So I think, like, I do think that I perceive the pattern, and the pattern actually tells me where these dangerous objects will be. So I managed to get just out of the way, but not like too far out of the way, just barely out of the way of all of them, and draw my gun and fire back. And I hit one in the chest twice, and I hit the other one in the head. And their flying forms go past us, and collide with the wall behind us, and all their sharp implements stick in the floor and in the furniture around us. And I think, like, in the darkness, you can just see the glint of the American's teeth, and then that reflective nature of lupine eyes under his hat.
Very nice. Miss Blakely, just to kind of make the bonus a little better on Mr. Stevens' boxcars, I'm going to just say that you can grab a weapon on your way in case you need it.
Okay. I think when the sisters were flying towards them, Miss Blakely kind of just stumbled out of the way and pulled out the little gun that she stole from Sure Shot. And she's still kind of just holding it up, just like her hand shaking, like, what just happened? I think when she jumped out of the way, she jumped towards the fireplace, and she picks up the poker from the fireplace so that she could have a weapon in each hand.
Very good.
Well, I suppose we should continue on.
You go downstairs and you get to the lair, and it's as described previously. Like, there are people bound up in the silk threads, and kind of positioned as if to be like a royal fey court. And you see rows of red glimmering eyes in the darkness from the little bit of light you have coming in from above. And we'll cut back over to Brown's Hotel. Rob, Teddy draws a hot bath for a pair of good-looking young men staying in the same room. In what ways does Teddy help bring the erotic subtext of this scene to the fore?
I think we see him as one of the young men passes by the door to the bathroom. We see Teddy kind of roll up his sleeves to remove his jacket, roll up his sleeves, and kneel down next to the bath and pour a kind of milky, some kind of milky substance from a bottle into the jar, and then he leans down with his arm and just swirls the water around. His arm submerged all the way up to the bicep, and sort of swirls in a figure eight. And the one of the young men just stands there, kind of watching him from behind.
Dr. Noble, Pope, you follow the little girl out to the pier, and you see the creature at the end of the pier waiting for her. Dr. Noble, what do you do?
The other thing is, and we'll show that in a bit, is it also ties into validations. So if
they're not close yet, right? I mean, like, you
She's sort
just
of in
see
between
that.
the two of you. Yeah,
different rate,
Got you.
she's between
Got you.
like you and Pope and the creature on the other side.
and there is a way to let your
She wants to call out.
enter this information directly.
She wants to from what she thinks she understands, she wants to just reassure the creature that
When an invoice comes into the system, it compares itself to
she, you know, she understands the whole child thing. I mean, because I'm assuming, like, the creature's not threatening the girl at all. It's more of probably waiting for her to be reunited, I guess. I mean, if
If our theory is right.
You know, again, I mean, like it's like, you know, not really understanding what's going on, but wanting to call out and just, well, actually, you know what? No, she will still keep going. You know, like not getting not going too fast and just calling out to the both of them and saying, "Is this what you want? Is this what you want?"
The creature says, speaks,
Oh,
and says, Albertina, are you finally fulfilling your end of the bargain?
Pope,
Dr. Noble just looks behind her and goes, "What?"
Pope steps in front of, protectively in front of Dr. Noble at this point.
The creature
With
says,
his,
I taught you my secrets. I gave you your talents. And in exchange, you were to give me a child.
Dr. Noble will just look a little confused and just I almost feel like there should be rain right now because it always seems to be that sort of thing that should happen. She's just gonna look confused and go, "Albertina's back there, dancing."
And the creature kind of gets like kind of a confused look on its face. And it just lopes for the child, the rest of the distance to grab the child. Pope, what do you do?
I spring forward to take one of the child's hands and just try to make eye contact with the child to see, is this what she wants?
The creature looks at you and says, are you the father?
I'm no father, no.
A deal was made. The child is mine.
The child is her own. Let her decide whether she goes with you or stays.
Oh, interesting. Let's cut back over to the dress shop. Down in the basement, Miss Blakely, Ms. Beaumont in her true form, steps out of the shadows. She is a woman, but with all those, layers of fabric, but her head is this massive spider's head. And she has 2 forelimbs kind of like stretching out in front of her. And her eyes are glittering red and the little bit of moonlight coming in from the top. Are you going to try to unbind her power now?
I think I'm going to look around to try and figure out how I could even do that.
I mean, sure shot, you can be on the scene as well, but I mean, whatever you want to come up with in the fiction, I think is great.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean, I think we can come here prepared with the information, and we, speak out to her like, creature, we name thee. And then like start describing her, and then like if that gets a reaction, be like, creature, we bind thee, and like start saying things like that.
I mean, Miss Blakely, are you going to do that? You're going to like?
Oh yeah, that's rad. I love that.
I think this is the night move. What are you afraid is going to happen if you fail?
That she is going to eat me.
I think it's worse than that. She will eat you and will arrange your husk to be her handmaiden in her fae court.
Oh, that's rude.
Roll with sensitivity, please. And yeah, sensitivity. If you have a personal quarters item that'd be helpful, this might be the time to use it.
I already rolled, and so I feel like I can't.
Okay, what'd you get?
What is my sensitivity? It's 0. I rolled a 7.
7. We'll come back to that. let's go to Brown's Hotel.
You did bring that harpoon gun, right? We're gonna need it.
David, Teddy returns to his tiny, dingy flat in East London. What do we see in Teddy's apartment that shows how he tries to incorporate bits of glamour into his dull gray life?
So Teddy comes in. It's a tough apartment. It's got water stains on the ceiling, cobwebs in the corner. It's poorly lit, but lit enough that you can see from inside of his knapsack or inside of his coat. He pulls out a few of the baubles off of the dress from the woman's room and adorns himself, places the rest kind of in a small dish, and uncorks the bottle of whatever scented liquid he was putting in the bath and kind of puts it into a bowl of water that he sets over by the window to stop the terrible river smell from coming in the window, to keep his apartment smelling as good as it can. And then he turns on, he has a sort of working record player, and he turns on the closest approximation he has of the opera, and he starts to try and sing along. His voice cracks, but he keeps trying to get the note.
The little girl looks up at you, Pope, and says, I want to go down to the sea, to the kingdom beneath the waves. I want to dance with the crabs and sing arias with the jellyfish.
Dr. Noble will take Pope's arm and look at him and have him look at her. She needs to be with her family. Her true family.
Now for flagging options, you can reject or flag the invoice when it comes in. We usually recommend
Yes, Mom.
you set it for flag. That's what puts up the
I
warrant.
believe
is
she
her
does.
choice.
Get you the red exclamation point on the screen.
And it should be her choice.
There's been a validation failure.
Is this your choice, child? And she's looking at the little girl.
Well, so it's worth pointing out that the creature intimated that the child is not his, that he was just promised the child, right? It's almost like a sort of Faustian bargain or something, right? But it is what she says she wants to do. She, of course, is not in her right mind because she's under the spell of the song. So,
I mean, in a way, I almost feel like there's some susceptibility there again with Dr. Noble, that there's something where she did not necessarily fall under the sway of the
two of you
dance
might
and
be
the
in the
song.
song as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so she's responding to that. I mean, and then there's that almost like a tie that she feels as well. So it seems like a more honest thing than being with this dancer that seems to have just taken but not given. So, yeah.
So you're letting the little girl go?
I would say so. I mean,
The
whether
creature,
sensibly or not, I mean,
the creature
yeah.
extends his slick, rubbery, scaly hand to the little girl, and she takes it, and they step off of the pier into the water, and Creature of Cremorne Gardens is resolved.
I think Pope steps after them and almost still holding onto the little girl's hand as it's outstretched back toward him between the creature and her. And as she goes into the water, he kneels by the water edge, and his arm reaches down after her, but she slips away.
Good echo. Well, you got the mid result, which means you're successful. But I think that I'll keep it real simple here. I think you're struck with the condition, the pattern as well, Ms. Blakely. Invoking the power of it, I think, sticks with you. The two of you can together describe how you unbind her magic here and what happens to her. So whether she goes away or whatever, take it away. That's resolved in any case.
I think upon saying the name and speaking to the creature about what it is, it starts to sort of smoke. It's like this bright kind of milky white smoke coming out of its being, and oh man, I had an idea for a second. Oh, I think then the smoke starts to take the shape of that pattern, and Miss Blakely gasps because she can see it now, and she's thinking back to all the other times that this pattern has shown up, and she kind of looks over at Sure Shot and says, "Mr. Stevens, do you see that? That's it."
Sure Shot is like reading it, like he's saying it as it's coming out, like he's completely into it, and you can see, because you look at him, the reflective like dog eyes that he has right now.
And I think Miss Blakely just kind of stares at Mr. Stevens and his strange canine eyes as he's speaking this pattern out to the world. And as the words get louder and louder, it's almost like a thrumming in their ears until suddenly everything is quiet. And Miss Blakely looks back and the creature is not there.
I think the smoke, as the smoke is clearing, like this amazing dress she was wearing collapses to the ground, and all of the small gems and baubles break off of it and scatter across the ground towards us.
I love it. That ends the night phase. Let's talk about the dawn. Rewards. Yes, rewards were collected. We have 2 resolved threats. I'm going to just clip the rewards images and then drop them into the chat so you all can pick your rewards. It's easier than reading them off. Do that real quickly. And let's go ahead and insert some stuff here. Okay, this first one I think is, pretty sure that's Cremorne Gardens. Yeah, the second one is Spider Silk. Now, the first one, I don't believe you're able to take the Greco, the second-sided boy, because I don't think you talked to Greco, the second-sided boy. I'm pretty sure that
I did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, he called me a devil, and now I'm.
Oh, that's right.
Condition.
That's right. That's right. I remember
Yeah.
all that. That's right. Okay, so you can. Greco can be consulted via dreams on an ongoing basis if you wish to take that as a reward, someone. Otherwise, it's just a memento from the investigation. And the Spider Silk Seamstress has several. All those Spider Silk rewards are unique. So whoever, you can get to choose one of those as well. So decide what you each want.
Is it one per?
Yeah, they can each be selected once. Yeah. And you get one from each list.
Okay. I think I would like to be able to consult with Greco, just because clearly he doesn't like me, and I think that's funny. I wouldn't mind the music box, I think, for the other one.
I was gonna like either do that or the silver rimmed monocle.
Mm.
Well, and by selecting an Amanda, everybody gets access to Greco. So
Oh, perfect.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
This way, again,
I thought you were gonna do the suit or the gown, Miss Blakely.
Oh, I have enough suits, and I don't need one of her weird spider suits.
yeah, to consult Greco, you have to have the cosmic passage marked as well. So, or no, you should have to have it marked to take that. So yeah, you're okay. What's everyone else taking? Everyone else is just getting a memento from that one. So just say who you want to declare the memento, and we'll do it.
Well, Pope can declare mine, I guess, from the creature, I suppose. Or Cremorne, yeah. I mean,
you probably won't have any existing names in that, so just do create new contact, and then go, and then you can create the user account. The first thing is for user type, set that to vendor, and then from the vendor name,
I'm just trying to think of something here. I'm trying to think of something that's connected to Dr. Noble's resemblance to Albertina, yeah, somehow.
I wonder if you could take like how to do the tango.
That's awesome.
I love that.
yeah, or a
tango lessons.
Yeah, or what is it? The tango where you? No, it's not the tango where you use the castanets. Is it that? Yeah, flamenco. Yeah.
No, the tango is a much more intimate dance because like you're with the person, like you're with the other person.
Because as a vendor, they're very limited in what they can do.
What's someone else going to take for?
Let me.
Did somebody say they took the music box?
I think Amanda had claimed it.
I thought about taking it, but if you want to take it, I can take the Venetian mask.
Oh no, if you took it, that's cool.
The Venetian mask is an interesting echo to the sun mask, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, like I said, the music box or the monocle.
I was kind of leaning toward the mask, just because of my initial connection with the man in the sun mask.
Yeah, I'll take the suit then.
I would
take the suit.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll do the monocle.
I'll ask Dr. Noble to tell me what memento from Cremorne Gardens.
Okie dokie.
Also, these Spider Silk ones, 3 of them have like they're basically magic items. So maybe like note on your personal quarters what they do as well. So.
Okay. Let me see.
I think the fascinating thing about the flawless suit, perfectly tailored to my measurements, is that it has incorporated holsters like hidden inside of it.
That's awesome. And like the Hulk, it's like, if you decide to change, it might stick with you. Who knows?
It's 4-way stretch material.
Right, exactly. Like you won't shred it. It'll just kind of grow with you or whatever. So it's awesome.
It's a fey suit. So
I mean, hell, it might be incorporated, and so you're still clothed when you come out of it. That would be brilliant. So.
Makes me think of like a magical girl transformation suit.
From Cremorne Gardens, Sure Shot, you're gonna get there's a little bracelet that the little girl had left behind, and it's made of deep sea coral. And it has like a weirdly iridescent shine to it that you can't get anywhere else.
I think what Dr. Noble gets from Cremorne Gardens is perhaps the rose that Albertina was carrying while she danced the tango. that she dropped on the ground of the dance floor at the end of the dance.
Okay.
Currency type, you can set the default currency type. It defaults to US dollars, but you can choose if you just want to surprise people and suddenly your invoices are going to be in Swedish krona.
Love all that. Is everybody sorted out then, or is that?
Yeah, and I think I got the monocle.
The
Oops.
third
Yeah.
document deletion, if you defaults to no, which means anybody with a matter user level or higher.
Very good. Who's taking the mask? Is that?
From a matter, but if you set it to yes, only admin.
Is Blake there?
I was going to take the mask, and also I need a memento from the Creature of Cremorne Gardens as well. I think I will ask Miss Blakely to define what that's going to be.
That means if an invoice comes in where the timekeeper, if they're listed in the managed timekeeper section, has a billing rate different from what's listed, they'll send a notice. You can either automatically send it to just everybody who has the invoice admin role,
I think before you leave,
who has the admin role.
you look down and you see a pearl, one of those pearls that just been around. This one is a very deep green. And inside of it, when you pick it up and you look at it, the shine looks like the iridescent shine on it. Kind of looks like a fisheye.
You can also be notified if a new timekeeper is added
And
in.
it feels very warm to the touch, which is weird.
Very good.
It's a timekeeper listing to change.
Let's talk about questions. Dawn questions.
For validate
Everyone's getting the first two, so congratulations, because you did answer a question and you did resolve a threat. 2 of each, in fact. 3 questions and 2 threats. Yeah, so you get 2 experience points there. I'm pretty sure everybody got an echo too, but let's just confirm. Sure shot, you got an echo, yes.
codes are invalid. So again, if you have a
Yes, I believe so. When the dress and the other dress.
Oh, right. Did you use violence to solve a problem? Yes. Did you encourage a fellow hunter to let loose for a change?
Harpoon.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she kind of invited herself into that.
Yeah,
so
it feels like a
probably
bit of a
not.
stretch, but you got the others, so you're good to go there. So you should have marked 4 experience total. Pope, we know you got an echo because it was a really good one at the end with the arm in the water. Did you have a scene showing your secret private life in London, Pope?
No, I don't believe so.
Did you just demonstrate obsequious behavior towards your employer in front of others? I don't know if it was like obsequious, but I think you definitely like your dedication to Dr. Noble shone through.
Yeah, I was kind of trying to lean toward that at the very beginning, but it wasn't in front of others.
I think
that was a private
I think it's
scene.
fine. Yeah, I think it's in the spirit of it. It's in the spirit of it. Dr. Noble. Echo of the night, Dr. Noble.
Yes, because of the dress in the actress's room with the echo of the pattern and the void of the velvet.
That's right. Yep. Did you secretly engage in romantic or emotional behavior at odds with your aloof logical exterior? Yes, I think the whole sequence.
For sure.
Did you have a conversation with the child while no one was looking? I don't think
I did not
happened. No. Ms. Blakely, Echo of the Night?
Yeah, mine was pretty laid on thick, but it was there.
Did you let someone touch you and then make them pay a price for doing so?
I don't think so, unless you count Constance Head, but she didn't touch me so much as
she didn't
hide from me. And I shot poor Gregory just because he wouldn't leave.
Did you secretly show a vulnerable side to someone?
I mean, throwing a huge hissy fit in front of people in the cathedral, maybe. But I don't know if that's vulnerable.
Yeah, so because it was insecurity, right? I mean,
that's
you were
true.
Definitely, I'm into it. You were definitely being like, yeah. I mean, Theodora got one up on you that time, right?
So mad at her.
Very good. Let's continue on with oh, what's your extra clue that you found? What'd you sniff out? It has to relate to it has to relate to Laurenten's Pig.
Yeah. Man.
You can think on it. We can just note it for now. We can just note it with brackets if you want until you come up with something.
Yeah, let's do that unless I can think of something.
Show the clue from Mr. Stevens in brackets, and we'll sort it out later. Let's talk about Resurrectionists. Well, that's Janice Mask and Body Parts. Sounds like you were combining those, Dr. Noble. So this is the last thing. Take it away.
Okay. So basically, she gladly receives the packet of sex organs from the resurrectionists, but it still gives a smile to her face, like a very small one that she actually shows to the head of the resurrectionists when he gives it to her, and then she starts to bring it back to the lab and proceeds to add it to the parts of the child, which whom is slowly taking shape. And then she remembers she remembers the first time that she and her love were together, physically, intimately. I mean, she's a doctor. She has seen every shape, size, form of person, and this was the first time that she wasn't looking at the organs in a particularly clinical or physical, or excuse me, clinical or logical manner. She was actually emotional and actually feeling something beyond her normal self. So this was bringing her to a more balanced state of mind, and she considers it one of the happiest times that she's ever known in her life, where she didn't have to just be a woman and be ignored or told what to do, and she didn't have to be the doctor that had enough knowledge to put people back together and try to save them. She was herself.
I love it. Thank you. Stars and wishes. Stars, of course, things we enjoyed. Wishes, things we hope to see next time. I've got so many stars, but take it away, whoever wants to go.
Big star for the Theorizing. That just entire thing was just amazing.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was really good.
I really loved the theory that was put together around the Creature of Cremorne Gardens in particular. I mean, all of them were good. I really liked actually both of them. The way we figured out how the name of the Spider Silk Seamstress worked as well. That was just really, came right out of kind of some fairy fiction. That was great.
Also, I really, I'll start for that for me as well. And I thought all three of the answer questions were really good and very enjoyable to participate in and watch. But I also just want to note here that like you all took the opportunity to create this like Tower of London storyline for Patrick, which was not something I thought of, and so it's kind of cool that you use the move to do that, which I thought was super cool. So, yeah.
And another star was just the whole scene of Miss Blakely shooting Mr. Gregory and then blowing up the house. That was, that was so cinematic. I could just picture that as being kind of the end of an episode of a TV show with her walking away from the fire burning in the background. That was
total
great.
Chaos agent.
She did not turn around and look back at the fire.
Right. No, of course not.
Yeah.
And I really loved Mr. Stevens' "Creature we name thee, creature we bind thee." That was great. A great turn of phrase. So those were my stars. Wishes. Pope and Miss Blakely still need to have that scene together. It's never come up somehow.
I know. I had an idea for it, and then it was like, oh, we already all had
we've all divided
things
up already.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's interesting. Another star for me. I really enjoyed. I thought the resolutions of both threats that were resolved were really, really good. They were so interesting in that they were kind of different in tone, but they were they had some thematic connections because it was about the creatures sort of going away to wherever they're from, right, and claiming their territory, and that was really, really intriguing. And I also like just the sort of some of the echoes of like, well, another star. The whole scene with Man in the Sun Mask of Dr. Noble was terrific. Loved that. It was fun to role play, and it was just kind of fun to sort of like get those, to kind of continue sort of like pushing on this idea of other worlds, you know, these other worlds that are like concurrent with London, which is really great.
Yeah, I loved the pick of the unseen for how it played with how the two threats were resolved. It's kind of like there is an intruder, the intruder wants something, the intruder takes something.
And it was also about different worlds too. It was about Teddy and his little gray world, and all these rich people and their world, you know.
It was good.
And it was just nice to have like a resolution that didn't involve us killing the monster. You know, that was like a different, just a bit of a different thing. Even though we may have done kind of the wrong thing with the Creature of Cremorne Gardens in a way.
I mean, you know, it's interesting because, I mean, you know, sometimes the best episodes are the ones that have like the unconscious themes running through, and it's like in the repeats of the patterns, and then the, you know, the creatures with their own motivations and their own reasons for doing what they do. And it's just been a wonderful experience with everyone and what they've been coming up with, and then just being able to tie it all together. And then when we did the theorizing, I mean, it was great. We had all these clues, we were running with them and really running hard. I mean, we came from starting the game like, oh my God, what was it again? What did my character do? And then all of a sudden, wham, right into theorizing. 2 threats. Oh my God.
Yeah, big stars for the theorizing, because that was so much fun. It was really intense, but it was so much fun. Everyone had such amazing ideas, and I think we took a lot of them to run with. I wish we could run with them all. I also really loved the conversation with the Man in the Sun mask when Jason, star for you for when you were getting the mask on Dr. Noble, and I was like, no, oh my God, this is terrible. But it was so cool. It worked
I intentionally
out really
stopped doing my little talk behind the mask voice too, and as a way of showing like what's happening, right?
It was cool.
Right.
Yeah,
Totally.
The audience
Loved it.
knows he took the mask off. Don't turn around. Don't do it.
I was like, don't turn around. Oh God, don't turn around.
But I mean, you know, I mean, how funny is that? Because then it's like, you know, I could picture it in my head that, like, you know, she slowly turns around and the camera turns with her. So you are looking you are looking through her eyes and then seeing everybody else and Pope. And then you hear, like, you know, right there, like on sound design, you know, like in the ear. And then the mask slowly comes down over her eyes and the camera.
Yeah. Like Michael Myers at the beginning of Halloween when Michael Myers is wearing.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's like for best experience, watch this scene with headphones on.
Exactly. That's, I mean, like that, it was perfect. I loved it. Thank you so much.
But yeah, stars for basically everybody has already said the stars that I wanted to star for, but it was just a lot of fun.
This is a great session. I think this was probably one of my best, like my favorite sessions of the Between. This was really, really good. You all just did a really awesome job. It was very invigorating to participate in. If I have any wishes, we've got 2 slots open on the threat. And the threats now, so they're not going to both get filled, but one of them is going to get filled, and so I think I'm gonna push into some of the newer threats. I think we'll do some of the newer ones, and kind of see what we can do with those. So, yeah.
Wish I have marked write a move for my advancement. So I think it'd be cool to try and come up with something. Maybe something about the werewolf, so we can see it happen a little bit.
Like you have more control over it, kind of.
Yeah, like that seems to be the story that is happening here. Like it's just how the dice have played out, but it would be cool to see that wolf come into play. So that would be cool. The other way it could be written, another move that could be written is like turning this pattern into something. So I don't know. I need to think about that.
I don't know. We can talk about
think?
it later, but
Yeah.
we have till next week to sort it out. But I think both would be great. I think the pattern is a cool idea. Maybe the pattern is what causes you to like, maybe gives you some control over the wolf, you know.
That might be, because I did an unseen where it seemed like this power, this turning into a wolf, actually came from some Fey creature, or from being in the Fey realm as a young person. So
yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I think that'd be like combining the ideas would be really neat.
My wish is Blakely and Pope have to have a scene. That has to happen. Also more Brathwaite. I love Brathwaite and I want to see more of her.
She was not in person this time, but she made a big impact. Her one appearance. Yeah.
And I think as the cathedral starts to fall apart more and more and Blakely gets madder and madder, she's going to start making worse and worse decisions. So it's going to be fun. Her decisions are already so bad.
I mean, you're 2 mastermind clues away from Theodora being able to attack you all. So
yeah,
that's coming up. So yeah,
my wish, well, of course, to finish the child, but I mean, it'll be interesting to see, because again, I feel like I've taken this character less in a logical path, more of like, you know, she's coming at it from an emotional level, and it is starting to show. So she is starting to crack, and it's like, it would be interesting to see, hopefully, that when she completes the child, it's like to what length that's going to take, whether it's going to be okay or if it's going to lead to her own destruction.
So I think I do want to point out that like I'm changing the child move. It's going to be different than it's currently written, and the way it's going to be changed is essentially if you have all the parts, you as a player get to choose how it goes. Like instead of rolling dice, you get to decide the creature is good and it works and it's now my child or the person I'm taking care of. Or you can decide the creature is angry and it kills me and or I run away, or I'm horrified by it, I run away, and now I get to play the creature, right? Because it unlocks a playbook where you can play the child, right? Or you can, or you know, it runs off and is a new threat. So like basically I think I'm going to make it to where like you just get to choose how you want that to go, right? So based on how the story's kind of going. So.
Okay.
But yeah, three very different outcomes that are a possibility there. So.
Right.
Okay, any other stars or wishes? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit stop on the recording.